What's up YouTube? I'm DarkJack, and in this video I'm playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the map Plaza, where I go flawless with my LMG. And today what I want to talk to you guys about is why I no longer play RTS games. And RTS stands for Real-Time Strategy. These are games like Starcraft, Warcraft, and a bunch of other PC games, as well as Halo Wars, which is baby's first RTS. And back in the day, I played a lot of Starcraft and Warcraft. Starcraft is probably my first multiplayer experience where I played with other people over the internet. And I also bought Starcraft 2 for its campaign, and I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't enjoy the multiplayer that much. And the reason why I no longer play these types of games is severalfold, and I'm going to list them for you in this video. First of all, I don't have the keyboard skill to compete in games like Starcraft at a high level. The computer will always beat me on hard difficulty, because my keyboard skill is not good enough to manage several different units at the same time. And in games like StarCraft, the skill gap is way too high. Games like StarCraft have a gigantic size skill gap. And by skill gap I mean the difference between someone who is new at the game versus someone who is experienced at it. It is just too high for me. Whereas a game like Call of Duty has a very low skill gap, because the difference between the best players and the worst is not nearly as high as a game like Halo or StarCraft. Because Call of Duty has instant kills, and there are no power weapons or power-ups, and you die instantaneously. And I don't have the patience to learn everything in an RTS. To learn everything and to become an expert at it takes a huge amount of time and dedication, to learn all the different units, to learn their strengths and weaknesses, and to learn the best build orders for each class. And the only thing I could really do well was Zerg rushing, which is where you spend all your money and resources on Zergs, and you rush. It's an all-in effort, and if you lose the Zerg rush, you're probably going to lose the game. But most of the time I could win, because I was decent with the Zerg. And with StarCraft, I really can't relate to the pro players. Unlike Halo 3, which I would watch avidly on MLG, I would love to watch Halo 3 MLG, because I could actually relate to the pro players. Whereas with StarCraft, when I watch the pro players play it, I have no clue what is going on when I watch them. And the games in StarCraft are just too long. The games can be 20 to 30 minutes each, which is too long for me. Games like StarCraft and RTS games are a high-endurance sport. You have to be constantly active for a very long period of time, anywhere between 20 to 40 minutes. And even then, after putting all that time and effort into the game, after a 40-minute game, you could still lose, after putting all that time into it. StarCraft is a high-endurance sport that takes a lot of concentration and effort in order to play. And also, in RTS games, it is very difficult for me to control multiple units at once. I can only control one group at a time, whereas pro StarCraft players can control lots of different units at the same time, using hotkeys and things like that I never really mastered. And back then, I did not use a gaming mouse. I just used a regular mouse. And so as a result, it was very difficult for me to move my mouse around the screen and control everything at once. I could only control and do one thing at a time. And also, in StarCraft, I found the game to be very, very, very repetitive, meaning that each game was essentially the same. I would have one build order that I would use for each class, and I would just do that every single time. So each game would start out the same exact way. And the difference would be not what I do, but what the enemy does. If you're playing against the computer, then even that is the same almost every game. And once you've mastered a certain build order, it's the same every single time. And another thing I didn't like about StarCraft is that unless you are friends with people, you can't rely upon random teammates at all. And if you're playing 2-on-2, if your teammate is incompetent, then that means even if you do extremely well, you're still going to lose. So therefore, StarCraft, to me, is always an individual game, not a team-based game. And I really don't want to spend the time and effort building the muscle memory in order to become great at StarCraft. It takes a huge amount of effort to be great at that game. And I don't want to play a multiplayer game unless I know that I can be great at it, that I can dominate in the game that I'm playing, because it's too hard in that game to be a top-level player. And for me, it's not worth the time investment to become great at it. And I find that when I play multiplayer games, it is embarrassing for me to lose. I get embarrassed by losing at games. And I would rather play other games instead and spend that time and effort dedicating myself to another game that's easier to play so I can do well at that, instead of spending all this time at a game that I may not be good at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, and I'll see you guys later.